Hey everybody, Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. It is Friday, and the market it was up today, but it's pulled back a little bit. And but boy, it's just powerful right now. The market is powerful. I've been trying to balance out my portfolio. Interestingly enough, it just seems to keep working, and that's a great thing. So right now we're in it's a good period. So it definitely is a time to be in the market. That's definitely for sure. Just We are in a confirmed uptrend. That's one thing I definitely want to point out here. We're in a confirmed uptrend. So you want to come out of cash and possibly be fully invested in the market. I am almost fully invested in the market, which is amazing. Not on margin yet, but definitely fully invested in the market. I have been buying Tesla. I've been buying some other stuff as well. By the way, if you're watching on TikTok and you want to see all these charts, I can't show them directly, but you can go to this address, www.bit.ly/DTF416. So DTF416 Bitly. So that's a good place to possibly to take a look take a look um, at the market and the charts as we show them. Okay, kind of want to show you basically what's going on with today's market. S&P 500 is just zoomed up today. It's up about 0.38%. Dow Jones is up. NASDAQ is up. New York Stock Exchange is up. Wow, everything's up. The chart for the NASDAQ deposit is stellar, as you can see, just really moving nicely. And the Dow Jones is moving very, very well too. So good time to start buying. This is a buying phase. We're in a space that is looking very, very good right now. So it's a big surprise, that would be the case, but it definitely is the case. Now, here's what I want to show you. This is the volatility index. This is the VIX. I'm sure that you've heard a lot of people talk about the VIX. This is the VIX. This is a chart that I have of the VIX. And basically, the volatility has actually been moving downwards, which is incredible because, it has been, you would think in this market with all the news it would be going up. That is definitely not the case based on the charts. The volatility has been going down. So, we are looking very good. Now, with this is a kind of a reverse. With a normal stock chart, we want to be above that 40-day line, but with the volatility, we want to be below that. That's actually a good thing to be below that. Less volatility equals a better market. So, it's looking very, very good. So, that's just kind of the long and the short of it. I'm in far too many stocks, but I want to show you the list anyways, just so you can get an idea of kind of what I'm in. Salesforce, of course, that's CRM, down a little bit today. Robert Half, this one's been doing well for me. It's down a little bit. Invesco QQQ Trust, now it's no surprise that this one is up today. Why? Because the NASDAQ is up, and the QQQ is the NASDAQ 100. I use this for my ready cash. I have tax to pay that I'm going to pay. I put them in here, make a little bit of money, and then I pay the tax out of this. So this is my short-term cash that I park typically in the QQQ. Innovative Industrial Properties. This is a really interesting company. This is a REIT that primarily deals in the marijuana market, the cannabis market. And I've had it for a while. It's up very nicely today. A little bit down in terms of volume, but up very nicely, 2.9%. Ford Motor is off a little bit, but this one has been a real winner for me. Started buying in at about 15, and wow, we're up just in a few days. So believe it or not, Ford Motor Company is making a new higher high, and that's very interesting. It hasn't been at this level, believe it or not, since 2010, so almost 11 years. So there's something going on at Ford that's awful good, I guess, and I think it's the electric vehicles, but it's doing quite well. Tesla as well is doing well. It's off just slightly today, $6.84, which is not a lot considering the price of $12.23. There's the resistance level for Tesla was basically about 1,200 a share. So that's been the kind of the resistance there. CubeSmart down a little bit here. I may get rid of this one. I just don't know. This is also a REIT, which is strange for me, but this is a REIT that's a storage REIT, CubeSmart. Sentinel One. This is a security play, a cyber security play. Relatively new company, IPO. Don't do a lot of those, but this one is, it's been faring fairly well. We're off a little bit on AMD, but boy, it's run up very, very quickly. I was buying this basically at about the 120 level. It's already up very significant. Lots of volume here too. Now, this is one that I have done very well on the last few days. It's called GitLab. GTLB is a symbol of that. This is an IPO too, so it's very unusual. Don't buy a lot of IPOs, but this one is one you want to maybe put on your radar. Github, which was a competitor, was bought by Microsoft for a tremendous amount of money. This is essentially the same kind of idea, but it's more for the open source world. I think it has a real legs because of the way software development is done, but called GitLab, and GTLB is the symbol on it. It's up about $3.22, which is $3.83, which is tremendous, about 3.22%. So really quite good. Volume's down on it though. Shoe Carnival's up. People are buying those shoes. I mean, I'm amazed with Shoe Carnival. The only thing about Shoe Carnival, relatively thin stock when it comes to, there's not a lot of, there's a lot of Shoe Carnivals, but there's not a lot of shares in Shoe Carnival. So kind of a thin stock, but doing well as well. It's up almost 5%. I guess daddy, you needs new shoes, baby needs new shoes or something. I don't know, but it's doing well. ASML, this is the most valuable tech company in Europe. They make chip making equipment, and basically they sell to everybody: Samsung, Intel, boy, you name it. Texas Instruments, everybody buys from them. They're down a little bit today, but just slightly because it's such an expensive stock. But very much in a buy, very much coming up to a buy zone. This is a little bit aggressive buy that I made on this one. We'll see what happens. FANG, of course, and this is Diamondback Energy, up very nicely today. This one was in the buy zone. Definitely want to keep in some of the oils because, the price of oil, unfortunately, is going up. And it's a good place to be in the oils, with that. Now, I wanted to also talk about a trade that I put on for everyone last night on Zillow. And, of course, Zillow's having a lot of trouble. Zillow was in the business of buying homes, and unfortunately, they bought a bunch of homes, and now they got to sell them, and they got to sell them at a loss. So basically, I did what they call a bear put spread. This is kind of counterintuitive. This goes up if the stock goes down, and the stock has been going down. So currently, today it closed at 66.02, down about 2%, 1.46%. People are selling this thing, lots of volume. Where we started out here, where this line is, yesterday, the value of this trade currently is about $55. Now, we started out, it's about, for each contract, it's about $400, has a potential of about 560 if it retreats about 10%. And I do believe this stock by the January timeframe will retreat 10%, probably a lot more than that, but I'm pretty sure that it'll retreat at least 10%. So this is, basically where you could put in about a little over $400 to get out 560, and there's a pretty good idea that this is gonna succeed. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. By the way, we have a lot of great of these spread trades. I want to be doing a lot more of them. I've got my systems working finally. I figured out why I was having trouble broadcasting. I have essentially I have a rendering flag, believe it or not, in the browser. Boy, I tell you, that was obscure, and it was hard for me to find it, but I finally did find it. So, so that did kind of work there as well. So, without further ado, let's get into some of the charts. Just bringing up my charts here. Open those up and see who's looking for what and when and why and how. All right, let's look at AOSL. AOSL real quick. See if I can bring that chart up. AOSL. That is Alpha and Omega Semiconductor. Okay, this is a Chinese semiconductor. Interesting. I haven't seen this one in a long time. AOSL. I'm familiar with this company. But by the way, they're a customer of ASML, which is the chip foundry of producing equipment company. That's the one I showed you. Very nice pattern on this one. We have a cup. This is a cup without handle, and it has been moving very fast to the buy point. The buy point on this is $43, and we have earnings per share up basically 93%. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. It's a little bit hard to see it on this chart, but let's see if I can zoom in a little bit and give you a little bit better look-see, because it's I mean, there we go. That's better. There we go. One more there. So we can kind of see kind of what's going on in terms of this chart. All right, here's the basic deal. It's come right up to the buy point line here after earnings. So they had some good earnings. So I want to kind of take a look to see on the fundamentals how this one is doing, what kind of sponsorship it has, and the whole rigmarole here. So let me kind of put that in play here. So let's go here. And I'm going to have to take your name off here just so we can look at what's going on. The nice earnings up 23%. So that is indeed looking good. There we go. Just mark that 23%. But the profit's up 93%. So this is very strong. 273 different funds in it, 49% fund owned. So that's very good for a Chinese company. Strong cash flow. Boy, this is looking pretty darn good. It's got a 100% checklist. Well, you know what? I think, boy, this is viable. This is absolutely viable. You probably want to wait until it goes through the pivot at 43, but I think that this is definitely viable. So, I would recommend possibly doing something like a buy stop limit order on it. That's kind of what I would. That's kind of how I would do it. So a buy stop limit order where the limit equals 43, and where the stop, the stop equals. Let's get that backwards. Where the stop equals 43, and the limit equals 43.10. I tried to get it there. Let's see if I can get this banner up where the stop equals 43 and the limit equals 43.10. So now that's how I would play this. So as it moves above, tomorrow, if it moves above this buy point, then it will buy it right as it moves to the right there, and it will. But here's the problem with this chart: is it's a very good chart, but more than likely we're going to see it retrace probably about to there. So I don't really want to buy it unless it's going to move higher. I just kind of don't want to do that. That's why I would consider using this buy stop limit order. But this is a very good stock. Definitely have this is definitely looking very, very good. I mean, looking very, very good on the stock. So that's what I do. A buy stop limit order where the stop is 43 and the limit is 43.10. So thanks for that question. Very, very good question. Let's see if I can get a question from TikTok. Let's see. Thank you for tuning in here. Bitly gives a warning on your site. Ouch! Heads up. Thank you very much. That's weird. Bitly gives a warning on your site address. Ouch! I wonder why it does that. Okay, I didn't quite do that right. So I appreciate that. Yeah. Okay, I'll have to fix that problem. I'll have to fix that problem. But thank you very, very much for taking a look. By the way, if the Bitly doesn't work, here's a workaround for that, and that is go to my profile my profile, and then just scroll to the bottom, and you'll be able to see the live feed for this episode. So just go to my profile. It says Beacons. Click on that, and then scroll all the way to the bottom, and I have a live link to the show as it's rolling. But I thank you very much for telling me that. Sometimes these things just don't quite work. So that's definitely a situation there. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. How do you set up your put spread? Oh, okay, great question. Great question. If you want to see the put spread, and if you want to see the put spread, very, very easy to do. Just go to www.bit.ly/DTF0001, 3 zeros and a 1, and that should get you the put spread. So what I'm going to do on the website on the thing here is I'm going to show you for the Zillow put spread. Go to bit.ly/DTF0001. So we go there, and that should work, hopefully. And so, if you're looking for that spread, go to this link address, and you should be able to. It says got, but it says go to www.bit.ly/DTF0001. So that should give you that spread on there. So, anyways, that's my my take on that's my take on it. All right, let's take the next question. Thank you so very, very much. Of course. All right, hi Jim. Word on DC. Ooh, 75%. I have no idea why that is. DCPH. Let's look at it to see. I haven't been watching that one. Yeah, farm. Okay, look at that. Wow. Yeah, this is unfortunately sort of this is sort of penny stock hell, I'm afraid. Yeah, look at that chart. It is really, really moved lower. That is just amazing. So let's just kind of zoom out there a little bit to get kind of a look-see on it. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea why that's the case. It just had earnings. The sales were up. That's good. It's still in the money-losing phase. The cash flow, of course, is negative because it's a growth stock. Pharma stocks are tough to trade. I'll be honest with you. I don't trade a lot of them for this very reason. I have no idea why this is the case. 44 checklist. I do not know why this is the case here. I really don't know, MB. Huh. I am at loss. I'm at a loss for the words. So I may do a little bit more research on that, but I don't know why. Maybe they're. I don't know. That's very interesting. Let's look at Uber. This is for Kira. Thank you very much. UBER. All right. Uber. And Uber still, unfortunately, now I have an alert on here. It hasn't been triggered yet. The alert is going to be triggered when this moves above the above the 200-day moving average. Currently, this, and I'm looking at the weekly chart here. I'm going to switch to the daily chart to kind of give you an idea. But this is the reversal line. I'm going to reactivate it. Now, I have it just moving above the reversal line, so it's still really not a great place to buy it. The place I would look to possibly buy this would be at 50, but right now I think you need to avoid it. I really do, because it's just not looking good. I mean, it's just not looking good. So I would avoid this one. I would avoid Uber for now. I just can't really get, unfortunately, too excited about Uber. It's just, this is not a good chart. This is not a good chart. So I would put Uber on the back burner, and I wouldn't buy Uber right now. I just wouldn't do it. The chart, you don't want to buy a chart as it's moving lower. You just don't. All right, AMKR. AMKR. Let's see. Amcor Technology. Okay. Yeah. This is okay. So I know this. Yeah. This is a good area. Now this is starting. This is a stock that's a little bit better in terms of, its performance. The relative strength line is 78, and it's pointing upward. That's very good. That's bullish. We've had very nice earnings. They're up. The earnings were up 95% of share. This is AMKR, Amcor Technologies, that we're talking about here. The proper, you see, I had marked this one before. This is the proper buy point. This was a cup with handle. That was the proper buy point. But unfortunately, it failed. But now it looks like it's gaining strength. And this is really interesting, because if we look back in time, back here to the July time frame, it looks like we got, the resistance was this 24. It came through this 24, but then it really moved lower. There's somebody that really sold out big. Now it's looking like it's moving back up into the buy range. Currently, the price is 23.52, obviously, but the buy point is 24.21 based on this chart. So I think this is buyable. I really believe this is buyable. And this is actually a pretty good place to buy it. Let's look at the industry and sector. Wow, that's pretty good. The industry is 24. It's 24 out of 197. So that's looking good. Let's look at the stocks that are in the industry. Just, that's so important, is to take a look at the leaders. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's fifth on the list. So indeed, that's not very good. That's actually very, very good. The number one performing stock right now, believe it or not, is On Semiconductor. I want to look at that stock. But this is very, very good. This is totally buyable at a current level. So this stock is very, very buyable. Wow, this is a very good place to buy it here. So I would say, I would buy this. This is looking, this is looking very, very good. So I would say, for Amcor, Amcor, KR is buyable right now. Okay, great. Boy, I like that. And basically the buy point is equal to this 24, this 24, 21. So that's the buy point. That's very good. This is looking very good. It's in a great category, and it's showing strength. It's reversed above the this very, very key 200-day line. So it's definitely made a reversal. That's very good, and it's moving higher. So boy, I think this is buyable. You could buy this right now. So I'm going to actually put this on my list of buyables. And that's at AMKR. So I really, really like this. I really, really like this stock. This chart is good, and I would buy it. I would buy it. I may buy this one. Thank you for that. Thank you for that comment. That's a very good. That's a very, very good comment there. All right, so we've got. So basically, that was. I think you got to wait on Uber, but Amcor, green light it. Green light it. That's really good. That's really, really good. Um, Jay, I bought more crowd. When will it finally hit 300? Good question. Good question. I kind of I moved out of crowd just because I was I didn't I would couldn't I couldn't really do the pullback that well. Let's see, CRWD. CrowdStrike Holdings, of course. Um, I bought here. It pulled back. I didn't wait for it to move back down to the proper the proper support at the 40-day line. It looks like though it went up to the 10-day line, it pulled back to the 21-day line, and it looks like it has support at the 21-day line. Now, typically, this is a fairly good pattern. So CrowdStrike may be buyable here. This is not a bad. This is a reversal off of a cup, and this is sort of the handle here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm drawing the reversal line here. I'm going to set an alert on that line. So really, kind of where we're looking here is 240, 274, and we're above that. So that is possibly buyable here. So will it finally hit 300? Well, I think it probably will because it looks like it's reversing. So I think that we're probably going to have about a week or two, and I think it may very, very well hit 300, but it's got to go through that 289 level. Right now, the issue with CrowdStrike is it's got that resistance at 289. So, before it can move to 300, basically what's got to happen here is that it's got to move through its it's got to move through the buy point. So so CRWD needs to move above the 289 buy point first before first. So really that's what's got to happen before it can get to 300. Very, very critical here. Oops, wrong one. Very critical here. It needs to move through that 289.24 buy point in order to get there. So it has reversed. It looks like it's going higher. Here's what happened before. I tried to buy it right at the buy point, 289.01, and then what happened was I put my stop loss at 274. It came up, it was rejected, and then boom, it went down, and I was stopped out. So this time, maybe it'll have enough power to move above 289, but it's got to really move above 289. Here's what I would recommend on CrowdStrike. If it moves above 289 and it can close above that, then I think you could even add more potentially as it's moved, because this is the resistance right here at 289. So that's kind of that's kind of the long and the short of it. But it's a great stock. It's an absolutely great stock. All right, let's look. Oh, Big C, interesting. Gee, thank you. Look at the Big C. That's actually based down in Austin. I found out. I haven't used Big C yet, but I hear a lot of people like it. So, unfortunately, they like the company, but they don't necessarily like the stock. This is still in downward trend. I would be really careful buying this. If I was down more than 7% on this one, I would sell it. Yeah, it's got a 67 checklist. It's in a good area, though, computer enterprise software, which I like. But boy, I don't like this chart. There's so many other better ones here. Let's look at the industry area, the computer software enterprise. Now I have CRM in this category. Of course, that's Salesforce. Let's see if that'll let me. No, it won't let me. Heck. So it's not pulling it up. Oh, I know why. Because I'm the reason it's not letting me do that, and there's a good reason it's not letting me do that, and that is I was zoomed out. So I have to be at 100%. I can only do this move to the. Okay. So there we go. Okay. So if I move to that viewpoint, there we go, and we go over here. So there. And we can see if we can get to that computer software enterprise. Hopefully it'll tell us no, it won't. All right. Okay, these are the companies that are in the computer software enterprise group. And let's take a look and see kind of, what we can see. What we can see here. So Paylocity, okay, Digital Turbine. So, there's so many better products here. Tech Target. So here's what I would do. I probably, with this one, with Big Commerce, I probably would avoid this one. It just doesn't have the right look to it. So I would avoid. I would avoid Big Commerce for now. I just would. So avoid Big C for now. Nothing is written in stone, but I just think you got to avoid it. This chart doesn't look good, and it's in a good group, but there are so many other better ones out there. I think you just gotta not, I think you gotta be real careful on that. So I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do Big C right now. Right. Interestingly enough, we have a question from TikTok. Thank you very, very much. And this is, is it time to buy Disney? Well, Disney has been a winner for years and years, but just because it's famous doesn't necessarily make it a good buy. So I want to kind of show you the chart that I have, anyways, on Disney. I'm going to show you the big chart. There we go. So here's the chart of Disney. Here's the problem with Disney. It's not a good time to buy it now. It's not a good time to buy Disney. Why? Because it's in a downward trend. We don't want to catch a falling knife. So here's the thing. Here's what I would say with Disney. Not a buy. Don't buy Disney. Is now in downward trend. So that's kind of my take on it. I mean, Disney is a great stock. We all, we like their shows and everything like that, but God, but gosh, it just isn't a good time to buy Disney. It just is not a good time to buy Disney. It's in a downward trend, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to, as they call it, they don't want to catch a falling knife. And I'm afraid it's not probably going to drop off the edge of the world. It's a Dow stock, but boy, I don't like this chart action. So I wouldn't be a buyer of Disney right now. That's my opinion of it. Good company, bad stock, wouldn't buy right now. Any opinion on PayPal? PayPal has dropped off the face of the earth, and I was a very big. I still am. I still really like PayPal long term, but I'm not a buyer of it. And the reason I'm not is because I want to own stocks basically that are in an upward trend, and that's just unfortunately for PayPal anyways, that's not the case here. We have a downward trend. So let's kind of zoom in a little bit and see, just kind of magnify, because I'm going to kind of show you, what's going on and why this one is not as good as we would like it. Earnings are in 3 days, okay? So you never want to buy that close into earnings. You really don't want to do it. You want to buy about a week out, because Earnings can be a big surprise. Now, I could be totally wrong. It could just turn around and it could be a completely different thing. But what I'm seeing on this chart is I'm seeing an awful lot of selling activity down here. This is volume, and look, all these red bars, and they're all above the average. So I'm seeing a lot of selling activity going on here right now. So this is not looking good. This just isn't. This isn't really looking good for for the prospects. So I would say lots of funds are selling PayPal into earnings. Why? I don't know, but don't. Don't catch a falling knife. I mean, the question is, why is this happening? I don't know why it's happening, but of there's a lot of selling of PayPal going on right now, and it's just yeah, it's tough because lots of funds seem to be selling it, and the question is, why are they selling it? I don't know why they're selling it, but I do know that this is a dangerous tip. It's trading below the 200-day moving average. We never like that, and it's got a terrible checklist. So this is just unfortunately right now PayPal just is not the place to go. So I wouldn't go there with PayPal right now. I just wouldn't go. I just wouldn't go there with PayPal, unfortunately. And it's so don't buy PayPal here. It's just it's not it's not what you want to see. Just don't buy it. Don't buy it. It's in a downward trend. So that's kind of my take on PayPal. All right, let's take a quick gander. Thank you everybody for for signing on TikTok. By the way, you can see the charts that I'm showing very easily. I I had a little bit of a problem with one of the links, so that isn't working. I have a workaround, very easy to do. All you have to do is go to my profile, click on the link. It says beacons, and then scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, not the top link, but the one the where it says YouTube on the bottom, and that's a live feed of this show. So hopefully you'll be able to hopefully that'll be able to work for you. So sorry about that. Sometimes my links are good, and sometimes not so much, not so much. All right, let's look at my Tesla entry is 12222. Should I exit or stay put on it? Wow, this is a really tough question. You're definitely buying an extended. Um, Here's the thing about Tesla. Because you've entered at this such a high level, it's going to be hard for you to hold it through a shakeout. But that you still can make money on it. Right now, Tesla is above. Let's see if I can. Let's see if I can get an actual. There we go. Let's see if I can figure out how far. Yeah, right now, Tesla is 8% above the 10-day moving average. Typically, you want to buy it, no more than 5% above. So it's probably going to adjust down. My guess is it's probably going to adjust down to right about the 1220 area. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, as it says after hours 1220. Okay, so I do think that it probably is going to pull back. It could pull as low. And this is really tough. It could probably pull as low as about at least 1200. It may pull as low as about 1180. So if you're willing to sit through, if you're willing to sit through it to pull back to about 1280, then I would say then I would say hang on to it. But here's what I do: I would put my line in the sand, and my line in the sand currently for Tesla, and I have quite a bit of it, is at 1150. So that's where I have it currently. That's the stop loss that I set on the 29th. So 1150 is where I have my stop on Tesla, and that's basically right at the 10-day line. Now, currently, Tesla is trading about 8% above that 10-day line. There's a tendency, even in a stock that's moving up, where it'll move up and then it will revert back to the 10-day line. So I do think it's going to pull back a little bit, but it's still an upward trend. So it's still a great stock. I'm not saying get rid of it or anything like that. I'm just saying you want to put your stop loss on Tesla, and I would recommend this, just based on kind of where I'm trading it. But but I would but I would let's see if I get this right. But I would set my stop for Tesla at 1150. So that's kind of where I'm looking. Oops. Come on. They're not letting me. Let me. Come on. All right. So I'm trying to get the edit key. There we go. So stop loss for Tesla equals 1150. That's kind of where I think would be a good place to put it. That's where I have my stop loss currently for Tesla is right at that 1150 right here, basically. That's where I have that's where I have it. So right about there you go. Right about here. So you can see that's the line that I have it. And the reason that I have it there at that line is because that's where we have some support, as you can see, from 1, 2, 3 days. So that's where I would put my stop loss for Tesla, and that's a very good question. Thank you very much for that, because I definitely like to show that. All right. Interesting. Facebook. That's interesting. I haven't seen. I guess it's going to be called Meta here, but I wanted to look in on it. I haven't really been trading it. It's made a nice bounce off the 200-day line. Yeah, this is not a bad reversal here. This isn't a bad reversal at all. I'm going to kind of draw a reversal line here. So we definitely have made a reversal on Facebook. And so 1080, nope, that's wrong. That's an alert price. We definitely we went up to the 40-day line, we were rejected, and it's off a little bit. So this is definitely reversed. This is actually, believe it or not, 89 checklist is very good. It has a relatively low relative strength, but it's going up. I like that. Wow. Would I buy Facebook at this level? Very good question. I know they've been printing money. I mean, that's been sort of the MO for them for a while. Let's see. And of course, I'm broadcasting on Facebook right now. Facebook Live, I guess it is. Let's see if I can. Yeah, there we go. So I'm just trying to zoom out here a little bit. We're at 150. So let's see if I can bring this to the correct, to this one channel. Okay. Let's see if I can put it at 100%. So that's always the best way to do it. Let's look over here at the daily. I'm seeing it. Yeah, it tested at the bottom of this consolidation. And it looks like they're smooth sailing up to 584. Wow. If it moves past this line here, it's viable, definitely. But I'd wait until it moves above that line. So here's what I would do with this one. I would wait. I would buy it above 345. So that's kind of where, that's kind of where I would start to look getting into the stock if I wasn't already in. on Facebook, I would start to get in FB at 345. And that's kind of, you know, that's kind of where I want to start looking at it, because that's sort of where that's where it's sort of, that's where it's starting to move higher, and it's going to move past that line there. So 345 would be where I'd start getting. It's a little bit underneath that. I wouldn't be in it right at this moment, but if it moved above that 345 level, I'd be very tempted to buy it, because that is a good level. You talk too much. I do definitely talk too much. Almost 100% above. Okay. Rolled some calls and made 2K on Facebook. Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Carvana. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at the next question. All right. Okay. All right. I've been holding AMD since 75. Should I take some profits? Wow. I wish I'd been doing it since then. That's great. I do have AMD, as you know. I've been it for a while. I think it's one of the best of the chip stocks right now, and I just think it's getting stronger. You know what? Why take? Well, theoretically, if you've been in it since 75, that would mean that you would have been in it right at this, basically right about here. So you've been holding it. Let's see. I just want to kind of see where you got into it. So you basically got into it in July. That's a great time frame to get into it. You got into it right in about July. You've doubled your money. Wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, I'd consider lightening up. Really, the first place you should have probably considered selling would have been about this. It would have been about here. Oops. Yeah, it would have been about 114, but you're way above that. So, heck, you know what? I would just sell it into strength. I would sell half and hold half. But I would start selling here. I would start selling here. I agree with that, because the problem with AMD and a lot of other stocks for that matter is that they can be if they can be difficult. So I would sell one half of my in AMD and take profits, because that's one of the hardest things to do when you're trading, is I've done well. When do I I take profits? Well, the conventional rule for taking profits is if you buy the stock and it's up over 20%, in over 8 weeks, you want to start taking profits there. If, on the other hand, it's up more than 20% in less than 8 weeks, then you want to kind of continue to hold it. That's the 8-week hold rule. But there's sort of a halfway in between sort of thing that you can do, and that is to sell half of your position and then basically ride on the house's money. Or what you can do, if you bought it at 75, you've almost doubled it. So here's what I would also consider doing. If I was that good into AMD, I would sell the number of shares that would basically get my original capital back, and then I would keep the rest, and that's the house money. So that's kind of how I would approach it. That's a great problem to have. I'm telling you, that's a great problem to have. You great stock, and thanks for the question. Really appreciate it. All right, so PayPal. Let's look at hello, Mark. Oh, great question. How do you calculate the stop loss? Very, very, very good question. Well, let me kind of give you a little primer on how at least you can you can you can calculate the stop loss, and it's really not all that difficult to do it. So basically, the way you do it is you go. Let's bring up that calculator here. We can do that. Yes. So in order to in order to in order to calculate the stop loss, what you do, let's see, let's pull up my, yeah, and see if I can move this to the back. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I hope you can see this. You're gonna see the whole thing. So let's see if I can share out my little calculator here and show you basically, basically the deal here. So with your calculator, if let's say for instance you're in the stock and your buy price is $100, okay, $100 a share. You just multiply it times 0.93, and that's going to give you a stop loss of 93. So you never want to let a loss of over 93 over 7% happen. So it's very, very easy to figure out if you are going to do a how and when to do a stop loss. So basically, let's say you're in this, you're buying your stock. Let's put up my chart here so you can see them side by side. There we go. So if you're buying the stock, all you have to do is is to basically do this. Um, you have let's say I'm doing AMD and I want to buy AMD, and the price for AMD is 136.25. Well, it's very easy to calculate the stop loss, and the stop loss is what you just put in 136.24, and then you multiply that times 0.93, and this gives you a general idea of a 7% stop loss. So the proper stop loss for a stock that you bought at 136.25 would be, if you weren't trading on any of the index lines, 126.70. Okay, it's pretty simple. Now sometimes you want to set the stop loss tighter than that because there are these various index lines that you want to trade off of. That's a little bit more advanced. But sometimes what I'll do is I'll look and I'll say, oh, I bought it here, and I don't want to let it fall below that 10-day line. So what I will do is I'll take a look at that 10-day line, and I'll take a look to see how much further above that 10-day line that the stock is trading. Well, in this case, it is trading 7.7%, 7.7% above the 10-day line. So I might set it a little bit less than that, but typically that's about 7% right in there. So you definitely want to, a good rule of thumb. And if you get into the practice of this will help you tremendously. And that is, now, so if I set it at that 10-day line, what I would do here instead of selling it at 120 at 127, I would put in 136.25, and then I would multiply that times 92.3. That would be 7.7% below where I bought it. So in that case, well, that wouldn't be right. In that case, the stop loss, let's put that in there correctly. So 1 minus 0.77, because that's how far below the 10-day line is, gives us 0.23. So we could potentially subtract that from 1, giving us 77%, times the price, 136.18, and that would give us a stop loss of 104, or approximately 104. So you get the drift. Basically, what you're trying to do here is to place the stop loss no more than about 7% below where you bought it. That's the key. That's the key on this. And that way, if you do that and you use what they call position trading, if you buy your positions, and the way I do it is that if you have your portfolio and it's worth $8,000 and you divide it by 8, that gives you 8 full positions. Each one of those positions represents about 12.5% of the value of your portfolio. If you use a 7% stop loss, so that you buy at 100 and your stop loss is set at 93 on the shares that you own, then if the maximum that you can lose on that position is approximately 1% of the portfolio value. So the reason that you do that is to protect your capital. And that's a very, very important thing. It's a great, great question. I could talk about it for hours. But that's the first rule that you need to learn. That's probably the most important rule, at least in stock investing, the way I do it, is how to set the stop losses so that you maintain your capital. That is a very key thing. So 7% below where you buy it is the great rule of thumb. And if you do that, you're going to be a lot happier when stocks pull back, and they will. And they will inevitably pull back. So let's look at Roku here. And see if I can put that screen up. Oops. Sharing my screen once again. There we go. Now here's the chart of Roku. Again, here's the problem that we have with Roku. It's in this massive downward trend. Below that, below the 50-day line, you don't want to buy it here. Just not a good place to buy Roku. So I have to kind of say here that just not a good place. Not a good place to buy Roku. Don't catch a falling knife. So that's really something that you got to be really, really careful about. Is you don't want to buy a stock when it's in a downward trend. Currently, Roku is in a downward trend. Now, it's a great company, great stock, but remember, you're not buying it to hold it forever. You're buying it to resell it. And so right now, you're buying it and you have what they call inventory risk. So if you buy this and it goes lower, boy, it's going to be harder to get back to where you're making profit on. So right now, you just can't buy Roku. It's just not at a good place where you can buy the stock. All right, I'm almost at the end here and I appreciate all your comments. I never get to all of them. I never can get to all of them, but you have such good questions. Really enjoyed doing this. How are you? I'm doing great, by the way. Doing great. Hopefully, I've gotten some of my technical issues solved with some of my feed. It's a weird thing. It's a rendering list that I had to do. But interestingly enough, I think I'm on the mend there. NVIDIA is not. Yeah, let's take a look at NVIDIA. That's sort of the last stock, because unfortunately I am not in NVIDIA. I wish I was. I was in it earlier. I sold it. I sold it too early. I took profits, and look at what happened. It just zoomed up. Yeah, look at that. But it did correct. So, there's still an opportunity here. There's definitely still an opportunity in NVIDIA. Now, here's what I want to do. Now, sometimes with stocks like this, you got to get creative. And I do think that NVIDIA is such a great stock that would be the case. Currently, I'm drawing the trend line. I'm kind of drawing a channel here. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, I'm drawing a channel. You see how it came out of the channel like that? This was the breakout, obviously, here. So what I do believe is that it's going to revert back down to the mean. That's my guess, is that it will pull back. I suspect that we're going to see a pullback, probably, potentially to as low as about 235. 275. I don't know if that's the case because it's just been going strong in the after hours. So I don't know if that's the case. This actually might be a good place to get back in it. I know that sounds weird, but if you draw the trend line, that's what I'm doing here, drawing the trend line, you can see it's really not all that far extended above this trend line that starts here at this base. So the fact of the matter is, I do believe, we may get another opportunity if it pulls back a little bit, but you don't want to buy it really above 300 right now. It's too far extended. So basically, with NVIDIA, you could possibly buy below 300, but I'd be super careful, with this. So, possibly could buy NVIDIA below 300, but the stock is extended. Yeah, and it's so tough. You can buy the right stocks, but if they're extended, you can lose. It's amazing. It's amazing on how that works. But you really should never try to buy extended, because buying extended can get you into a lot of trouble. Right now, NVIDIA is extended, but if you have a little bit of calmness, you could possibly buy it here. I wouldn't buy a full position here, but it may pull back a little bit on Monday. But see how it opens on Monday. I wouldn't buy it over the weekend. We have earnings in 12 days, so this is a tough place to buy it. This is not a really good place to buy it. The stock is extended, so I think it just gotta wait. I gotta wait until earnings. That's really what I would say. Just wait till earnings on NVIDIA. It possibly has some very good potential here, but it's just one of those things. It's just not going to be. It's just a little bit extended. Well, thank you everybody so much for taking a watch here today on the show. If you're not on the Action Trailer, it's super duper easy to get on. All you have to do is go to www.Dallas Trading Floor, and you take and put in the first and last name, and we'll get you on the Action Trailers list, so that you can see that, and give you an idea of what it looks like. This is the website, or what passes for my what passes for my what passes for my website. But this is how it looks on the screen for Dallas Trading Floor. This is the site. So basically, to get on the free Action Trailers, just need the first the full name here, the SMS, and the email address. Hit that subscribe button. Super easy to do. We do have this bull put spread on Zillow, and I think that's working. Let's make sure. Yeah, it is. Okay, so that's working. So you could definitely get on that. This unfortunately is not working. We do have a special Discord service. This is pretty nice. We have this every day. This is basically the trading community, and we've had a lot of people that really have had very, very good luck. It's $30 a month, but it's the only thing. And we do have a community of traders. It's pretty excellent. We've got not just me, but we have other people in there, and doing options trade right from the beginning of the bell. So that's kind of a good thing as well. If you're looking at that. If you want to learn how to trade the CanSlim way, I do highly recommend this. This is on the Dallas Trading Floor site. You just click here, and it comes up with the book on how to do it. And this is by William O'Neill. This book changed my life. And I tell you what, if you invest in this book, and it's on Kindle for $12, this will change your life. It's available on my website, of course. How to Make Money in Stocks: A Winning System. Good times or bad. This is the CanSlim method. Definitely worth your time. So, without further ado, thank you for. I will be back on Monday, and until then, happy trading, and everybody. I hope to have a good, nice weekend. We're coming into fall. this is going to be the next 4 weeks. I want to put this out there. The next 2 weeks are likely to be a very, very strong market. So this is going to be a good time to make some money. So get your pencils sharpened. We're coming into a very nice Santa Claus rally, I think, this year, and so stay tuned. I'll be back at 3:30 on Monday. Thank you so much for watching.